It's exactly 2 years since I last fished in Germany, but this month I'm back on the road and heading to the country's most famous carp water. The gravel pit I'll be fishing is the most historical lake in Germany, the former home of the legendary Mary that once weighed over 90 pounds. It goes by the name of Mary and Joe Paul, but is also known locally as Die Hard Lake. It's a very tough water, but the rewards are worth the effort. I've 10 days ahead of me, which will probably involve a lot of blanking. If I can leave with a carp or two, I'll be absolutely made up. Pretty mild and overcast today compared to yesterday. We had a lot of nice sunshine yesterday. I was actually sat in the bivvy sunning myself and sending my missus pictures of my legs out in the sun, but a lot cooler today, probably only about 15-16 degrees. That wind is quite cold as well, but it's definitely going to change over here. We've had some warm days, and the next few days it's going to be a bit of rain, 12-13 degrees down to about 6 at night, whereas it has been in double figures at night, and when I got here it was into 20 degrees during the day as well. So yeah, I've done a couple of nights in here. I've done actually 3 nights, but the first night I literally just came in here, put the rods out, and the next morning I had to pack up because I had to go over to a meeting at the clubhouse with the other anglers because they had like a what they call a fisher fest going on here, so everybody had to be reeled in for the morning. So I didn't really start fishing until 2 nights ago. But yeah, I think now it's time to move, get out of here, and I'll be pretty glad about getting out of here if I'm honest as well, because there's been loads of rats going backwards forwards all night long, and as you can see the reeds are really crispy and dry at the moment, so it's kept me awake all night. So I'll be glad to get out of here because there's probably 1, 2, 3, there's 4 big rat holes behind the bivvy at the moment. So let's have a look somewhere else and see if we can find where these fish are. It's chucking it down, but it is proper atmospheric at the moment. Does feel really good for a big fish, and this area has definitely got fishing. This is an area that's called the U. Now last night I did do a night on the beach, but just didn't hear anything at all in front of me. Just wasn't confident at all. And then this morning about 8 o'clock, half 8, I've just moved around to here, and this area is just opposite where I fished for the first few nights, and I did hear fish in front of here. Nobody's fished it since then either. So I'm just hoping that the fish is still in the area, and it is very weedy around here as well, so there's lots of nice features. I found a couple of spots I'm happy with. I haven't seen anything since I've been set up in here, but it definitely does feel good for a bite or two. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. It definitely seems to be more of a night water at the moment. I know lads are catching them in the day as well, but for me at this time of the year I tend to catch more of my fish in the autumn time, early winter, in the hours of darkness. And definitely on here there seems to be, when that darkness comes, there's a trigger with these fish. They're starting to bosh all over the place, they're giving themselves away, so that's when I think I've got a good chance of catching one. But it is due to be raining for the most of the day now, so the rods are in anyway. I'm happy with them. I've got one in the left hand corner in about 12-13 foot amongst a load of weed, and the right hand rod, that's slightly deeper, more towards the middle area, and that's just on the edge of the weed, because what you've got is not a thick band of weed from this bank out to the middle area, but you've definitely got a lot more weed on the marginal shelf. And I'm just hoping those fish are going to come around the corner or just patrol along the edge of that weed. Yeah, let's sit back and see what happens, but it definitely does feel good for a bite, and Nermin has just turned up now, so I better turn the camera off. So here I am then with Nermin the Germ, and it's been 2 years since I last fished the lake, mate. How's it been going? How was last year, 2021?
Last year was hard. A lot of pressure on the lake and a lot of bait goes in. So the club made then the decision to take a new rule. We forbidden the pre-baiting.
Okay.
Because it was horrible. So some night when you're out on the bank and you sit on the opposite side here where we are now, guys arrived in the middle of the night. Some anglers feed at the same time one pack. They don't know that because they arrived in the middle of the night or early in the morning or late in the night, and everyone think he's the cleverest angler on earth.
Yeah.
So he feed then when nobody's on the lake or nobody come over. And yeah, so the amount of bait was horrible what's going on.
I remember the last time I was here in November 2020, even in November, there was guys putting 30, 40 kilos in and walking around, not fishing, just baiting. It's crazy. That's why the fish are big, but it makes the fishing hard,
Yeah, make the fishing hard, and so it was harder to catch something, as you say.
And this year though, it's gone a lot better. I know you've had a good season this year. You've caught some really good fish, haven't you?
I have enjoyed this year. Really. I have to be honest. This year is a good year for me because a new job. So the way from my new job to my house, so the lake is on that way.
Yeah.
So I was able to fish every day, from Monday to Friday, after work or then before work.
In a week you had a really good catch, didn't you?
Really, it was 1 week and one day was totally special. So I have 2 70-pounders and 1 50-pounder. It's Mr.
Main fish in the lake,
Black spot.
Another main fish in the lake,
There's 2 fish from the A team, as we say, and also Little Mary. It's a fish from the A team, so they're not stockies. And this was crazy. With a small amount of bait, with a little bit more time and put effort in the fishing.
Yeah.
I have fishing here like never before.
So how big was Mr. P then when you caught it?
33.2 kilos.
Okay, so it's summer weight because it's
summer weight,
a little bit.
The guy before caught the same fish in the springtime.
Yeah.
When she was full with eggs.
Yeah.
38 point something.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
so,
big difference. Yeah, and black spot when you caught that?
It's 33.4. Also empty, and the same guy has the fish also in spring when he was totally alone fishing the lake.
Yeah.
Early in the spring, also with over 35 kilos.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah, big fish then. Yeah. Now you mentioned before about your new job, and you're now working for BAF, which is DNA over in Europe.
Yes.
And obviously some people coming into Europe, English anglers, have difficulty bringing bait out. If they wanted to get bait in Europe, they can get it from yourself, can't they?
They have to contact the headquarter in the UK.
Yeah.
So over the web shop.
Yeah.
And Jace will make everything happen and possible. So then you give the address somewhere close to the lake. A couple of weeks ago I sent something to Croatia or an English guy. All the anglers can do that.
Can they pick it up from your factory as well as?
Yes.
And that's in Mannheim, yeah.
Yes, from Monday to Friday, every day in the factory until from 7 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock.
Fantastic. And they can get the full range DNA and all the BAF stuff as well.
Most of the stuff from DNA we have on stock. Yeah.
Fantastic. Cheers, Nerm. Well, I'm 52 years old and I thought I'd seen everything until today because I've just been for a run about an hour ago, and I know I don't look very clean, but believe me, I have had a wash and a clean up. And the area that I go running is through this little park area, and you tend to see a lot of walkers, runners, cyclists. You even see the odd person out on roller skates with ski sticks practicing the skiing. But today it was quite quiet, and just in front of me, about 25 metres in front of me, is this oldish lady, and she's got her back to me. She's walking the same direction as I'm running. She's heard me coming from behind, and she's just stepped to one side, pulled the knickers down and started peeing. And she's peeing so loud, it was like Niagara Falls, really, really loud. Now, I've seen lots of blokes peeing in public, but I've never seen a woman just randomly pull her knickers down and start peeing. So I'm not really sure whether to look at her or to just ignore her and keep on running. But as I've got closer to her, she's looked up at me and just gone, "Morgan," as though it's something she does every day. And when I looked at her, I've seen everything, and I said, Morgan back. But it's certainly brightened up my day today, because I've been pretty hard going this last few days. It's running that's brought me that lovely memory today. Or is it a nightmare? I don't know. I'll tell you later on when I've been to sleep. But it's certainly put a smile on my face, because that is something you definitely don't see every day in England. Got the mozzie door down, but somehow I've managed to lock one in, and I cannot find him, and he's woken me up about 3 or 4 times tonight, just doing me in random places. But I think I finally tracked him down. I just killed one a few moments ago. I started to wonder whether it might have been dust mites, but I don't think there's 2 in here, so I think I've got him. I can go back to sleep. He's woken me up about 3 times tonight. Yeah, I think I've got him. Well, I was wrong. I've not got him, but I've got him now. Bloody thing. He done me on my elbow, my hand, and my forehead twice in the same spot. It's going to look like a golf ball in the morning. I can't look at the camera at this time of the morning, but I can sleep well now though, because he's definitely a goner. That's 2. Honestly, I've searched this bivvy everywhere trying to find just one. And eventually I found the one, but it was a bigger one. But he's definitely well gone now. Rest in peace. Well, it's a proper grim day today, and I'm waking up again to completely silent rods, and a few swellings on the face as well with mosquito in the bivvy, and yeah, just a little bit tired if I'm honest, because that's what happens when you're session fishing. I'm a little bit worn out, getting towards the end of the trip now, and I've got a day really of just sitting in the bivvy because it's going to be raining most of the day. It's just starting now, and yeah, quite a bit of heavy rain throughout the night as well. So yeah, it gets tough, these kind of sessions do, but this kind of lake, I enjoy fishing, I do. It's a lot better than fishing easier ones, commercial type waters, because when you get a fish, you eventually feel really rewarded from it, and that's how I know I'm going to feel if I get anything in the next couple of days, because I've only got 2 nights left now, and there's quite a few fish in here that I'd like to catch. Not only the 2 big ones in here, the main 2, which are Black Spot and Mr. P, which are the real bait eating fish. There's a few other 30 kilo fish in here that come out every now and again. One called Beauty, which is just over 70 pounds, which comes out every couple of years. Now, if I've got something like that, I'll be proper happy. But there's a few other decent fish in here that haven't got names. There's actually a nice common in here that I'd like to catch that's called the black common, a real black fish. It's just over 50 pounds. I saw that on the bank a couple of years ago when one of my mates Sven caught it. Really nice fish. But there's loads of fish that kind of size, 50 pounds. There's quite a few 60s in here as well. So, you know, special carp, special fish to get in the album. So that's why I'm here. That's why I make the long drive to come here. I know what it's like, but the rewards are there. It's getting towards mid-November now, and although it is quite warm at the moment, it is that time of year when the fish will start to slow down and switch off, and it'll get harder to catch them. But yeah, it won't stop the die-hard lads coming out and trying to catch them. I know that, because I know what these guys are like on here. There's some fantastic angles on here as well, but I've enjoyed the trip so far, even though it's been very tough, and it's going to be a tough day today sitting in the bivvy. So what I may as well do now is just give you a quick plug on this jacket. You know, I like to plug a few items in these films that I do, and this jacket is really my favourite item in the Avid range at the moment, because I don't like clothing with Velcro. It's just one of my pet hates. You know, you get these jackets with Velcro on them, and you're standing next to the bivvy where there's a bit of Velcro, the next minute you stick to the bivvy, and Velcro's just not something that I like on clothing. And this particular jacket, it's called the Ripstop Camo Thermal Jacket by Avid, and it's waterproof, it's 20,000 hydrostatic head, so it's a good item in weather like today. And it's also got that thermal layer as well, which gives it a little bit of extra warmth in the winter months. And some of the features on it, it's got a couple of zip pockets, which I always like, so you can keep your bits and pieces in there and they won't fall out. It's also got a nice smooth internal lining as well. It's got elasticated wrists, and it's just an all-round really nice comfortable jacket, and it's going to be certainly getting some use over the next few months by myself. If there's one little criticism I can give to it though, it just needs a little internal pocket inside there, which I like for keeping little items like my phone safe and stuff. But other than that, it's a lovely jacket, it's a comfortable jacket, and it's certainly going to be of use today if this rain carries on. But I'm certainly going to be sitting here watching these rods and hoping something happens. So I'm just going to run you through the tactics that I'm using for this trip. It is that time of the year when the fish have seen everything and they've had their big feeds, they're now just picking at stuff, so I'm not going to be putting too much bait out there. I'm using bug boilies from DNA Baits. These are the 24 millers, big gobstopper sized baits. I'm fishing for huge carp at the moment, and they'll easily go in the size of the fish's mouth that I'm trying to catch. That said, there's also a mixed stock of fish in here as well. There's a few nuisance species, there's a few smaller carp as well, so I'm going to be putting a bit of pellet out as well. I'm also going to be fishing a bit of paste on the hook bait as well, just to give it an extra boost of attraction. It is that time of the year when you're trying to stimulate these fish into picking something up. A little bit of paste out there, that can give off a little bit of a different type of signal to boilies. Tiny particles will just be dissolving off the baits, going into the water column. It spreads far and wide. I like a little bit of that kind of attraction, so that's what I'm going to be moulding around each hook bait. You can see that the boilies, they've been dosed in liquid. This is the liquid food that you can get from DNA Baits. It's nice and soluble, it's nice and smelly, it's very attractive to the fish, and it's perfect for this time of the year. On the rig front, it's my usual nice and simple stuff. I've just got one of the Avid lead clips with a 4-ounce lead on. I've got 25-pound captive coated hook link on. I've taken all of the outer coating off, so I'm just left with a nice supple braid. The hook link is not a snotty to a size 2 Armour Rock snag hook. I've just got one of the XL liner liners on there just to create a little bend in it. Then as you can see, we've got a snowman on there, which I've just put a load of paste around the hook bait just to give it some extra attraction. Ironically, I'm back in the peg where I started the trip for my last 48 hours. I don't really know why I'm in here either. It's just going on a bit of a hunch more than anything, because this is the area that Nermin did well on early part of the year and in the summer months. So yeah, I kind of get a feeling from it. It's done fish consistently for him over the course of the year, and there's not really a great deal else to go on. So it is a bit of a hunch. But it is an area that I know it's done big fish in the past. You know, Nermin's had some really good fish this year from here, including several 30-kilo fish. So the real 2 big ones in here definitely get caught from this area. So they're always going up and down this margin. I know this area on the left-hand side, the motorway bank as we call it here, it's a real patrol route with the fish. And I'm only fishing a couple of rod lengths out. I've got both rods, probably 3 rod lengths out, 2 or 3 rod lengths, something like that. It is quite deep. It sort of slopes off quite gradually. But there's some nice clear areas out there. Just cast the marker float out and felt some like glassy areas, and the lead's gone down with a donk, which is just an indication on this lake that there's definitely been some fish activity around here. So yeah, last 48 hours, I'm ready for home if I'm honest, but I'm definitely not writing off this last 48 hours because the conditions are good. And today I've seen one of the lads with a couple of fish in his hands as well. So there's things happening, and I'm just hoping that something happens for me. Magnificent fish. What a brilliant way to end this trip, because I've sat there through all sorts of conditions, rewarded in the end with this £50 common. Absolutely brilliant.